from us. So if I were to utter anything that was not from the Quran or the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it would have no value.
Actually, myself and Mufti met online.
Yes.
Fair to say.
Today. I noticed I deleted it today because I knew you got the message.
Okay, that's good. That's good. But what my intention was basically to break behind, getting down to the normalness of just being a person.
Yes.
And taking away the Mufti, taking away the alim and everything else, and just being a normal person, because I suppose that's the type of power that you are. I must be honest, I'm a big fan. And this is things that realistically, you are there when you're in the cars, you are there when you're everything, making food. Is it okay? Is it okay for us as Muslim youths, as Muslim youngsters, to say that I'm a fan?
Well, when you become a very big fan, I think it becomes an air condition. So basically what happens is when you get to that stage, I think these words and terms need to be understood. There is a difference between a fan of an idol, perhaps of, one who sings or one who's a hero in a movie, and someone who's in the deen. I think with us, what it is, and with me in particular, if you know me, and a lot of people do actually know me at close range, you will get to know that I'm a normal human being, just like you are. And we've got a family, we've got children, we spend time, and I try my best to avoid all this, public places and where everyone wants to greet you and shake your hand. The reason is they need to love the message.
Absolutely.
And they need to make sure that the messenger is just a human like me or you.
Yeah.
And I want to encourage the children and other youth and even other scholars to take the podium, to go up. They can achieve it. All they need is a little bit of courage, and they need to think within themselves that it's not just patented to one person or two. No, they are little children, and I give them a lot of importance because I believe they are tomorrow's leaders. Today, there were 3 little children in the front of the masjid. To be honest with you, I saw one looking at me, and I thought to myself, this young boy is looking, I had no clue who he was.
Yeah.
And when it came the time of witr, I swapped places with him, although he was behind. The only reason I wanted him as a little boy to feel what it's like in my place. And I did that. And the reality is, I believe they are our tomorrow's leaders. And if we are not going to be concerned to prepare them, and we just want to block it to ourselves. Some people, you just want the name and fame for yourself.
Absolutely.
So then you get jealous when other people are coming up. You get upset when little children read better than you, when they perform better than you. Wallahi, it's not supposed to be the case. I am the happiest person when I find someone reciting better than me, or someone so eloquent. I listen to others' lectures as well sometimes. Sometimes I don't even know who the speakers are, but if it's a good clip that comes online or something, I'd listen to it. There are some jokes that I crack sometimes which are taken from some others who have given talks, beautifully. So I firmly believe that we need to be normal, down-to-earth, humble people and try our best to not to allow people to get the word fan as a little worshipper of. So it's just a person who's inspired by. That's in Islam.
And I'm sure that is the general action that we get from, because look, Mufti, you are quite out there. You are a social butterfly in terms of the context that we're referring to. You're active on Twitter, you're active on Facebook, you're active on the internet. Tonight, just about after 12 o'clock, I'll get an SMS on my phone, actually on my BlackBerry, telling me that your lecture is available. So you are, at the moment, do you use an Apple or Android or Windows? What fan are you?
I prefer Android at the moment, and I'm still sitting with an S2, although, mashallah, I know all about the S3 and the 4. Mashallah.
I suppose if you look away, you won't really pause anything.
That's very, very true. To be honest with you, let me give you an example of the Jumu'ah, even these talks. I put my phone in front of me, and it records an MP3, whatever I've said. As soon as I'm over, I press a button, and it starts uploading. So the Jumu'ah, before I started the khutbah, the lecture was already online. So you have to be in touch with the times, because I notice that something that is a little bit stale, sorry to use that word, but which means it's like 2 years old, 3 years old, it will appeal definitely because the message is powerful, but it has a different audience. That which is fresh, hot cakes, sell faster than cold cakes. Sorry to say that, but if you know what I mean, I think the new generation are looking to be hands-on. For example, the Royal Bailey. Okay, those who are following it, the excitement around it. I was reading 25,000 tweets per minute. That's what Twitter said they had, per minute on that. Why? Just because it's fresh. But today, no one's talking about it, or very few, because the baby's born, everything is gone, the hype is over. Today we have Ramadan. If the hype is there and you cannot get up your lectures on YouTube, or you cannot get them, your messages on Twitter and so on, if that's the case, when the hype is over, the spirituality is low, the people's emotions are no longer as they were, we lose out and the masses lose out. So we need to jump on that bandwagon and market the deen the way the rest of the dunya is being marketed, because that's what appeals to the people.
That's how the dunya is evolving, I suppose, at the current time, the technology that we're in. I mean, you seem to be quite good at it, because you're in touch with what everybody's busy with in terms of technology and so on.
There are a lot of people out there, and to deal with them is not so easy. What I do, there are a lot of rules and regulations that I've set up for myself. Like, you don't get involved in little nitty-gritties.
Yes.
It's not a Q&A forum. You can go to your local ulama and ask them questions. If you won't find me answering a question on Facebook or Twitter, because I've made it clear, there are other forums that do that. So some people get upset, why don't you answer this? Why? I don't. My job is to inspire. Some people say, why don't you comment about this and that? Why don't you if it's a political statement, I have my view. But sometimes the world might not share that view of mine, because I may be making a mistake. So if I forward political views, automatically I'm breaking down the people who may be inspired by other things that affect them in their life. So it's a matter of intellect. You've got to know your base, and you've got to know that you want to put forward a common message in order to inspire people to become better. And for this reason, I've got followers and I know about them, because I've got a lot of emails, and sometimes I do read my tweets, by the way. I actually do. The mentions that are there, I actually read them. I read almost all of them, and I know what's going on.
Does your wife have anything to say about you on your phone all the time?
I'm not on my phone all the time, because they are admins for me.
These are things that we experience. These are things we experience.
Okay, I tell you what happens. They are admins for me as well. So, which means that at any given time, it's either me or them.
Oh, so you have proxies.
They work under instructions. Allah bless them all. Wallahi, look, I'll be honest with you. My work would never be possible if I did not have the support of my family. Not at all. I have them with me myself, mashallah. I've got 2 wives and 6 children, and I've got them here at the moment with me in Cape Town, and mashallah, it is just a gift of Allah that we thank Him for. I try my best to move around with as many members of my family as possible, because it makes my life easy. I don't need to worry about anything, food or washing my clothes or anything else. Everything is just there and it's waiting for me. So all I've got to do is do the work I've come for. I will prepare, I will make sure I fulfill all my duties and programs, and when I come in, I give it my best by the will of Allah.
I have 2 more questions, one of which is, we have a theme at the radio station, and it's knowledge for action and action for knowledge.
Brilliant.
What can you say about that? How does it fall from the lips of the Mufti?
Well, look, I'm just giving it to you off the cuff.
Yes,
knowledge through action and action through knowledge.
Yes.
I think it's brilliant. What more do you want me to say?
Absolutely.
Because to be honest with you, if you have knowledge, the only way to prove that you have that knowledge, and the only way it's going to become eternalized, is by acting upon it. So if I've got knowledge and I've never acted upon it, it will not be eternalized. But when I act upon it, I've spread the message in a powerful way. So knowledge without action is actually not knowledge, it's just a piece of information, And thereafter, if you have actions which are not based on knowledge, you're a fool, because you'll be just doing things, reinventing the wheel perhaps, dropping all the time. And we as mu'mineen are taught that you are supposed to be learning by example. Hence we have the Quran and the examples of all those before us. So mashallah, I think it's apt for an Islamic radio station, and well done. Congratulations to whoever thought of that. They deserve a prize, mashallah.
One last question before we go. And this is a question to the man behind the scarf and the abaya and everything. And there's a couple of stuff.
He's the same man.
Absolutely. Windows, Apple, or Android?
Android, any day.
Oakleys or Ray-Bans?
Oakleys, any day.
Earplugs or earphones?
Earplugs.
Viennas and chips or fish and chips?
Fish and chips.
Okay, your favorite book?
The Quran, wallahi, without a joke.
I told you.
That's inside out. Meaning,
absolutely.
Yeah, barakallah fiik.
And after that, I'm talking about a general kitab, but it might be even...
Okay, there is a book called, my favorite book, to be honest, I move around with it all the time. There are 2 books, in fact. They're both in Arabic. One is called Al-Lu'lu'u wal-Marjan fima ittafaqa alayhi shaykhan. It means the book which has compiled in it those hadith which are muttafaqun alayh, which Bukhari and Muslim have agreed upon. Anywhere I go, it's in my bag. right now it's in my handbag. To be honest with you, I travel with it every time. I like to read through it because it moves me. It draws me to tears. So I love that book.
What are you having for supper tonight?
I just had a Steers burger as soon as I opened my iftar. Today was my day. Oh, mashallah. The reality is, today was just an extraordinary day because normally at iftar what I do is I have a date or two, then we read Salat al-Maghrib and we have a little bit of water before Salat al-Maghrib. Thereafter, I have a little sandwich, like a tuna sandwich more so, with salad. And I like a honey and mustard salad dressing. And at the same time, without that salad dressing, I don't think I'll go for the salad. And it's just a sandwich with brown bread, perhaps a seed loaf if it's there. And inshallah...
So you're quite healthy.
Yeah, you have to
do
be.
sports? Do you,
Yes,
are
yes.
you active?
Well, you know what? Let's get to that. Let me just finish saying what I was saying. So then what happened is, or what happens in the evening is, I have a cup of green tea, you know, the green tea with milk that you get at Woolies down the road.
Yes, yes.
And raw honey. So I don't use sugar, but raw honey, a nice big spoon in that particular tea. And mashallah, I have water after that and I'm ready for salah. I go up, I'll have a shower and I'll make sure that I'm ready. Come for salah, here there is the isha and everything goes through. Now when I go back home, I'll have a similar sandwich, mashallah, and a similar cup of tea and a little bit of water perhaps. I have a multivitamin, the Solal, it's called A to Z, okay, one a day.
Okay.
It's just for people to know.
Yes.
And I think that's okay. Sometimes I would, if I'm not feeling too well, I have effervescent Panado sometimes. Like now when the weather changes and sometimes, you know, when your throat is really working, because today I raised my voice quite a bit, if you notice, by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And mashallah, you know, it happens sometimes. Not every time is it the same.
And
then you were saying sport.
Yes.
I check my weight regularly. The reason is I don't like looking at ulama who are not an example even by what they look like.
Mm-hmm.
They should be knowing that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was so pleasant to look at that, you know, the description of him, you just say perfect, beyond perfect, to be honest with you. Can't we try a little bit? I mean, there's no harm. You can cut down your food a little bit. You don't have to have fries and so on. You offer me fries and what have you. Maybe after Taraweeh, I might go for a little pie and that if I'm sitting with a group of friends, perhaps. But I'm not a fanatic. I'm not a fan of savories and all that. Not because it doesn't taste nice, because it's not good for my health. Okay. And at the same time, I wouldn't like to be a burper in Salah. You know, a person who's burping and everyone else is like sort of, you know, like the yes. And at the same, you know, when I was at school, I was fortunate to be forced to play rugby for 2 years. I played cricket and hockey as well. We played basketball, cross country. I'm a swimmer as well. Up to recently, I used to swim 20 lengths a day. And now I've slowed down a little bit. But at the same time, we used to run, cycle. Everything used to happen, but in moderation. You know, at the moment, I've slackened a little bit because of my duty and because of the work I'm doing. But mashallah, if you look at me, if my belly pops out, I'm worried. Believe me, I'm worried. Yeah. Allah bless.
It's been an absolute great honor for me to interview you today. Is there any closing words before we sign it off?
Thanks to Twitter, my brother. If you had not tweeted me today, I don't think I'd have seen that you wanted to talk to me.
Absolutely.
So Jazakallah khair, and we thank Allah. My brothers and sisters, the message I have to you, use technology to serve the deen, to say good words, because technology out there is really overtaking the whole world. And believe me, the minds, the actions of the new generation will all be based on the phone. Tomorrow, people, instead of coming for a lecture to a masjid, they'll just be looking at their phones. It's already happening. Yes. But you'll have everything will be on the phone, and maybe even technology that might come up that will be beyond that. So let's start diving into it. Absolutely. You know what? We need to look at the bigger picture and go into it, because if we don't, you know, Rebecca Black and everybody else is taking over. As weird as her song might be. But to be honest with you, look at the number of likes on that particular song. You'll get maybe 14 million. Wow. And what she's saying is nothing. To be honest with you, I've just given you a little simple example because somebody sent it to me. Don't think I follow it. I actually don't. But I know what's going on. You have to know what's going on. That's when you're going to reach to the youth. If you notice, I try my best to give examples that will relate to the youngsters out there and even the adults. They'll have to admit, because what's the point of giving examples that are clandestine, so far behind, where we're talking about something in the age of a long, long time ago when people are in the space already, space age. May Allah grant us goodness. Wallahi, I really appreciate the 2 minutes that you've chatted to me for, and I thank Allah for this opportunity. Listeners out there, make dua for me. I'm one of you. I love you a lot, and we're all part of one family. Believe me, even if I don't get a chance to greet you or shake your hand, it's because I'm just a normal human being. Love the message and shake your life with the message rather than shaking the hand of the little man like me. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us, grant us all ease and goodness. I hope you have a good evening and the rest of Ramadan, inshallah. And I am a speaker, so I can carry on and on. But now I just say, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. There you have it. This is